And now Kodak presents a holiday reminder from Betty White.
This week we'll celebrate the 4th of July. A good day to make the wonderful world of color yours with color snapshots. And you can do it so easily with your own camera, the one you have right now, and Kodacolor film. Kodacolor film comes in all the popular sizes. And believe me, next to the pickles, it's the most important part of the picnic. So when you're out for holiday fun, be sure to take along an extra roll or two of Kodacolor film so you can capture all the fun and color of your happy family day. With Kodacolor film, you can take color snapshots as easily as black and white. Just aim and snap, and you get beautiful, sparkling color prints. So no matter how you spend your day, save the fun in color. It makes a world of difference. Be ready before the 4th with Kodacolor film in the familiar yellow box. Remember, you can depend on the name Kodak.
Mike, come on! Mike, what is your deal, man?
Come on, man. You've been riding me all day.
Mike, you're playing like Betty White out there.
That's not what your girlfriend said.
Baby!
Whoa.
That's not cool. Eat a Snickers. Better?
Better. Hey, I'm all bad!
That hurt.
You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers satisfies.
Steve, it's supposed to be the new year. Come on, I thought we talked about this.
Well, we have a special guest, seasonal eating. And it's winter, and I'm eating seasonally.
Yeah, seasonally. I'm having my healthy green smoothie. Starting off the new year right. I don't think it's seasonally to eat potato chips and popcorn. Oh, grapes? Okay.
Okay.
That's not seasonal in New York, though.
I don't know what Ashton's going to say. Avocado is good, right?
That's healthy.
Well, all right. Well, how about this or this?
You got the water. Come on, Steve.
Right.
And isn't it weird they cost about the same?
Yeah. But you know what? I didn't know what to do because Ashton's going to help us eat properly. But you're already there. I'm sure we'll learn a lot more tips as we go along in this hour here. This is Kick on Healthy Relationships to the Curb. We're here every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. That's Stephanie McPhail. I'm Steve Vaccaro. It's been a couple of weeks, so how are things going? Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all of those holidays that were there. We wanted a 3-week adventure to go visit family that we hadn't really seen in a while and got to just spend time out on the road, did a lot of driving, we actually spent a good amount of time in 3 separate states. We drove through about, 6-7 states to get everywhere. So it was a fun family trip.
Wow, I saw some of the pictures and wow, there you go. Is that a beach? That's not in Texas, is it?
No, that's Myrtle Beach. So we were in Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina.
Wow. Wow, that is so cool. So how long of a road trip was it for you from Texas to North Carolina?
The first leg of the trip was about almost 18 hours driving. I'm not counting the stops. The second one was only 6 hours, then 3.5 hours, and then 17.5 hours. So
wow.
But honestly, like we both said, it was the kids are used to traveling. They like traveling. They get excited for the adventure that they're going on. They get in the car. My kids, when we decided the day that we left, we actually left on my birthday, and they woke up. My son couldn't go to sleep. He was so excited. He woke up first thing and was like, "Are we ready to go?" I was loading the car, and like puppies, they ran into the car, and I said, "We're not leaving for another 30 minutes. You can get out of the car." They're like, "Nope, we're staying here." So they just sat in the car as I loaded. I'm like, "We're going to be in the car a long time today." They didn't care. They were ready for adventure and fun. And We definitely had it.
So how many times did you hear, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?"
Well, I mean, going there, maybe, I don't know. There was times where it was just like, how much longer? How many more minutes is my son's favorite thing? How many more minutes? And we're like, well, being that there's 17 hours to go, there's a lot of minutes.
Our viewers say the same thing. How many more minutes left of the show?
Well, because they're excited. They want to stick around for as long as they can.
Yes. And I have to give a shout out to my niece, Jaden. It was her birthday on New Year's Eve. She's 15 years old. She does great in school, and she's like an old soul. And happy birthday, Jaden. And she tells me, I know your birthday's around Christmas time, so she wants her Christmas gifts on Christmas and her birthday gifts on New Year's Eve. So she's got it all planned out there.
You have to. And then she kind of has a built-in party every year for New Year's.
Yeah, I think that's the coolest birthday ever, right? New Year's Eve. There you go.
Everyone's celebrating with you.
That's right. And we had our successful second annual Pajama Jam, which kind of generated some funds for our Chapters Community Support Services nonprofit program. It's our second year. Last year we made over $1,000, and this year we made over $1,000. So we want to thank all the supporters out there that are supporting our nonprofit program. God bless you all, and we're just rocking in the new year within pajamas.
I love it. I used to do, for my birthday, I would always do pajama jammy jam is what we called it, or Stefacon. So you heard of all the Santas in New York City. We had Stefacon, and it was either, I always made people dress up. So it depended. Most of the time it was like Santa Claus or some holiday themed type of thing. But it was always a lot of fun to see everybody get silly.
It's cool. We were there for 3 hours. We had live music and people calling in, wishing us well. And that's Tyler and Ashley, and they're doing their thing. And that's me with the guitar. I was jamming out myself, but it's actually not really plugged in. I'm just holding it. But that's between you and I. But you know what? We're talking about kids and young people, and it's a new year. 2021 is gone. 2022 is here. We have a little inspirational video I want to show for our young people out there. Let's check it out.
Find something you love to do. Do it every day. Be obsessed. Balance can come later. Use your imagination. Put pen to paper. Declare your intentions. Set small goals. Knock them off, set more goals.
You have a lot of potential as a child, but none of that is capable of manifesting itself as freedom before you become disciplined.
Build confidence. Grow a deep belief. Outwork people. Play the long game. You don't have to be the chosen one. The secret is to build the resolve and spirit to enjoy the plateaus. The times when it doesn't feel like you're improving and you question why you're doing this. If you're patient, the plateaus will become springboards. Finally, never stop striving, reaching for your goals until you get there. But the truth is, even when you get there, even when you get here, standing on this stage, it's the striving, fighting, pushing yourself to the limit every day that you'll miss and you'll long for.
If you want to be a grocer or a general or a politician or a judge, you will invariably become it. That is your punishment. If you never know what you want to be, if you live what some might call the dynamic life, but I will call the artistic life, if each day you are unsure of who you are and what you know, you will never become anything, and that is your reward.
When you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way it is, and your life is just to live your life inside the world, try not to bash into the walls too much, try to have a nice family life, have fun, save a little money. Life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact, and that is everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you.
How many of us, I wonder, can recall that childhood moment when we experience happiness as a state of being, that single moment of untarnished joy, that moment when everything in our world, inside and out, was all right. Everything was all right.
Inspiring.
What's that?
Inspiring. I felt like I heard Alan Watts there at some point. I love Alan Watts, and I think I heard was that Tony Robbins in the beginning?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And you know, we all kind of need inspiration. It's still, this pandemic is ongoing. We have the new variant that's out there, and schools are open, schools are closed, remote, this and that, and I just, you know, it's a time for reflection, but it's also a time for growth. And I think this show kind of indicates where there's so many great people out there. We've been doing this for a while now, and each and every week, these folks that come on the show are really helping and changing the course of so many people's lives. And it's such a blessing to do that. And Stephanie, you have a book, and you do that each and every day on your own. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your book for our new viewers out there?
Sure. My book, Being Loved Shouldn't Hurt, is all about my struggle with healing from unhealthy relationships. Basically, the idea of the book is to let people know that no matter how long you've been in toxic relationships, no matter what has happened to you, you too can also thrive and create the life that you want for yourself. And I think that's really important for people to keep in mind, is that we really are the creators of our own life. We get to decide if we're going to stay stuck or decide to do something different. And you know, actually, while I was watching that video, I was thinking about how I'm a part of so many different groups, because before I became an entrepreneur, I was a teacher. I was a teacher for 17 years. And I remember, you know, my dad was, he worked for Northrop Grumman, and his thing was always, you know, keep your nose to the grindstone, do your work, get your house, your white picket fence, settle down, do all that stuff, and then just be comfortable. That way you're set. And I told him when I was in high school, I wanted to be a motivational speaker. And anyone I told that to, they always said, well, you can be a teacher. And I said, okay, maybe that's what it is. And I loved teaching. Teaching in the classroom with middle school to high school is still a passion. I love, you know, that age group. But I kept feeling like there was something else. And so when I created my business, I had a lot of learning to go. And there's a lot of people that said, you know, ridiculous. You need to just stick in the classroom. The kids need you, and they do. But I think when you have a bigger vision for what you want, there was never a thought for me, am I going to succeed? It's what do I have to do to succeed? And so in the years that since I've started, with all the coaches that I've paid for myself for business and marketing and all of those things, I see people that were in those groups who gave up, who said, I can't do this. And I'm still plugging along, figuring things out, because as an entrepreneur, we're always figuring things out. There's, you know, you think you got it, and then you got to figure something else out. But when you're so passionate about it, like I think it was Tony Robbins in the beginning said, make it your passion, make it the thing that you obsess about. And this is, you know, I love being able to help people. It brings me such tears of joy to know that hundreds of people have been directly affected, if not thousands, I guess, have not been directly affected by what I've done and what I teach. But then it goes out to all the other people who have also been touched, because those people have healed. And when you think about you doing your passion, that gift you were given, which sometimes stinks getting it, but you get that gift, that pain that you have, and you use it as fuel to be able to help you move forward, you can help thousands and thousands of people change their lives. And I think that to me is just a beautiful thing to be able to achieve.
Well, I'm glad you took a few moments to share that, because I think there's so many people out there. This road of life, you know, it's never too late to jump on this road and to change things around. If you think you can't do it, think again, because, we have to all think out of the box. We all have to be proactive and not reactive. And if you're assertive and talented and skilled and you have that passion and drive, that's what you need. That's the formula you need to succeed for yourself. But when you succeed for yourself in the work that we do, we're making other people succeed through empowerment and advocacy and support. So, well said. Chapters Community Support Services is a nonprofit 501c3, and basically it's going through 4 different channels. We do a lot of networking. We collaborate with other nonprofits. We provide a platform. We're advocates for Advocate. We have 15 shows on our media network, and then we're offering support, all along through that. So if you're interested in donating or being a part of our program, you can go to chaptersnetwork.org. That's our website, and you hit the donate button there. And we have a couple of announcements I have to make. Evan, if you're out there, we love you very much. He's a tech guy on our network. He's going through some challenges right now. May God bless you, your mom, and your father, and your entire family. Continue to do the great work that you're doing. Joey Gem, who's a friend of mine, that's baby Rocco, and it was his son that passed away at 2 years old. That's his father that just recently passed away. So Joey, if you're out there, we love you very much, and God bless you and your family and all the work that you do and the inspiration that you give others. And Joey will be having his own show called Dyna Talk coming up in a couple of weeks. So you want to check that out. We also want to wish Barbara Barcelona a happy birthday. She's part of our board. I want to thank Barbara for all the great work that she does. Happy birthday, Barbara. And thank you so very much for everything that you do. And real quick, before we get to our guests, we have a couple of announcements coming up. We have some shows that are going to be on tonight and tomorrow. I'm going to pop that up on the screen here. We have Flashback Sports with Baby Boomers Gil and Dave. Their special guest tonight is Lenny Randall. Eastern Standard Time, 9 to 10 p.m. Dave is on the left. Gil is on the right. And Anna puts these great promos together so very well. So thank you, Anna, for doing that. So you want to tune into that on the Chapters Wrap with Steve Accoun's Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and all our shows go on Cablevision, Spectrum, and Fios. So that's the show. And tomorrow, Ashley Blum has a show called Teen Talk with Ashley Blum. And Kennedy Ramos is our special guest tomorrow. She's an advocate in her own self, and you want to stay with her. They're both 17. Ashley's 17. Kennedy is 17. It's just amazing what young people do in life right now. So we need more work, more advocates like these young ladies. So I'm very thankful that they're part of our network too. But Stephanie, we have a great guest tonight. You want to do a little bit of an intro for us?
Sure. Well, I met Ashton a few months ago. It was actually really cool because, again, talking about doing what you're passionate about, we are lucky enough to be a part of a networking community that is all about just women entrepreneurs and helping moms that are business owners really move forward. And so I put out there that I was looking for some great guests for our show, and she answered the call. And, her story was so great because she decided to take the knowledge that she had about making healthy meals in a way that was affordable for families, make things easier, plan for what you need with what you have in your community. And of course, as someone with a background in health, that information needs to get out there. I mean, eating healthy does not have to be as expensive as we make it out to be. There are ways to make things more affordable for us. So I love what Ashton is doing. And I think you're all going to really love to hear what she does to help other people.
All right, Ashton, come on board here. Welcome to Kick Unhealthy Relationships to the Curb, and thank you so very much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you, first of all.
Thank you. I hope yours is off to a good start. I saw you had some good snacks.
Well, you have a real cool last name.
Wait. Good snacks. We'll talk about that one in a second, Steve.
Lettuce. I got some lettuce here. That's good. Okay, we're good. I got carrots and everything going on. But I love your last name, Cope, because sometimes we have to cope through life. And I have a little quote I want to pop in here, my little spin-off on your name. Life is not the way it's supposed to be. It's the way it is. The way we cope with it is what makes a difference. Would you agree with that, Ashton?
Oh, absolutely. I will thank my husband for the last name.
So talk about your work that you do and what is seasonal eating?
Yeah, so it's exactly what it sounds like. You're eating meals based on what's readily available in your area during that particular time. Most of us kind of already do this because we're shopping at the grocery store, and typically the things toward the front are the ones that are in season. And a lot of times we do this naturally too as the seasons change, like eating fresher in the summer and eating more slow cooked stews and soups in the wintertime. Those are examples of seasonal eating. The way I do it is just with a little bit more of a vegetable forward approach, so that I'm planning around the vegetables in season and then choosing things that sound good to me around that.
And how long have you been thinking about doing the work that you do now? Is that something that's always been instilled with you when you were younger, or did it develop over time for yourself?
Yeah, I've always loved food. I've always loved like looking at cookbooks, and my family has always had a Gordon Ramsay obsession. So anytime he comes out with a show, we will watch it. And as a kid, I used to send in to one of my local PBS kids shows my recipes, if you can even call them that. But yeah, I've always loved putting together recipes and food. And I started this whole thing back at the end of 2019, right before the whole pandemic thing happened, just talking about meal planning. And I was always taking more of a budget-friendly approach, just because that was what I was dealing with at the time. And I was sharing more like WIC ideas, because a lot of moms that have toddlers utilize WIC, or they utilize those types of benefits. And so I was trying to not just reduce the stigma, but also say, there's more to do with cereal and cheese and rice than what you normally would think. But as it went on, I got really passionate about my local farming community and agriculture, and how food can actually support both the person providing it and then the health of the person purchasing it. And it kind of just snowballed from there.
Wow.
Now, I love, so I was a health educator in a low-income district for 17 years. And one of the most frustrating things as a health educator, trying to teach kids how to live long, healthy lives. And I was amazed at how many children, like, fruit was not an option. Fresh vegetables was not an option, at least not in their house. I literally had kids that I brought, I think it was a peach or something like that. And the kid was like, "What is that?" I was like, "It's a peach." Like, because they had never been to the supermarket with their parents, And I think that what happens a lot of times is because parents that are on WIC, or that are getting assistance, they're not realizing what else is out there. And like you said, what they can create with the things that are available to them. And they start to feel very boxed in and, well, what can I do? I can buy this, I don't know, Marie Collander's, pie, whatever, that's $1 at the dollar store. That'll make me full. But this other stuff isn't going to do the same thing. So I think people get really frustrated not knowing really what to do with the resources they have.
Absolutely. And the one thing I love about cooking and food is how easy it actually can be. There are so many things that we typically would steer away from just because it seems fancy, and so last year, actually, during like the thick of the pandemic, I was bored and feeling kind of creatively tapped out. And so I started a series called Bougie on a Budget. And I was sharing like how I can make these fancy recipes for less than $20 to feed like 6 people.
Wow.
And that people were like reaching out and saying, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea." And that was another thing that the seasonal aspect of it really struck me, was when I was visiting my local farmers markets and things like that. I discovered that most farmers markets actually have a system specifically set up for low income people. So mine, for example, they will take your food assistance money, I don't know the exact word, or your WIC dollars that you have. They'll give you an allotted amount for just produce. My local farmers market actually doubles your money. and they automatically give you twice the amount of money that you were handed. So you're able to purchase. Not only are farmers markets actually a lot cheaper than we realize, they're so cool and so fun. You can get pretty good discounts on, farm to table ingredients. But then we're getting double. So I was able to really stretch my dollar at that point. And that also kind of removes the stigma from it as well, because you're almost getting preferential treatment at that point and getting extra benefits. So I thought that was super cool.
Which is really great, because in like Europe, where my family's from, they would pay the same per kilo, which is 2.2 to 2.5 difference versus a pound for the same amount. Like the produce was so much more. And I'm like, how is it that that's possible? Why is it that they're getting so much more for the same price? And so I didn't even know that that was an option for people.
Yeah, I didn't either until it was actually this past summer in 2021. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it was super exciting, and I was really happy to learn that I can share this with other people. And please, everyone, go look, ask your local farmers market if they have that type of barter system, because it really makes a difference.
Wow, this is Kick on Healthy Relationships on the Curb. That's Stephanie McPhail. I'm Steve Vaccaro. That's our special guest, Ashton Cope. We're talking about seasonal eating and habits. And I have a question too, because the worst food in life are the cheapest things, like Happy Meals, different things. And we're talking about low-income families. If they don't have the money, guess what? They're going to buy into these fast food, cheap ways of eating. But you're saying you could have a limited amount of money and make healthy meals, right, Ashton?
Absolutely. That was another thing that with the pandemic hitting its peak in kind of the spring and summer of 2020, one benefit that they actually introduced was that you can purchase frozen fruits and vegetables with your fresh produce money. So that is a huge game changer for those families that are either intimidated or just not huge fans of purchasing fresh produce. I've done extensive research on this for my meal planning clients, because a lot of us don't necessarily have the time or the ability to cook up like 2 weeks worth of produce before it goes bad. And there's really no nutritional difference between the frozen and the fresh. They usually, I can't guarantee that it's in season when they freeze it, but it'll be the same. You're still getting as many good benefits as you would if you purchased fresh. So I don't want that to discourage anyone, because I really do think if you went into the Dollar Tree, they do have a few, frozen corn or frozen peas. And so working that into like a box of mac and cheese is a great place to start with your kids, where you're showing them a familiar item and then just introducing one new thing, and just exposing them and yourself to the vegetables, even if you're a little scared or not so sure about trying it the first couple times. The exposure is really what's making the difference. It's just getting them familiar with it, and eventually all of us will be willing to try something new.
I love that. And I'm just thinking about this for anybody watching. I've never done this before, but my best friend's mother-in-law will go. There's a certain day of the week that if you go to Dollar Tree, everything is so like radically reduced that you can get like 3-4 times the amount you would normally get for vegetables. If you just, you'd have to look at your, like whenever, I guess they bring in new stuff and they're getting rid of the old stuff. Yeah, she told it, and she knows all the best. Like she knows when to go to Costco, when to go to, like she's got her places.
What day is that, Stephanie, that we have to go?
For her, I think she said where she is, it's Thursday, but that doesn't mean anything depending on where you're at. So that might be something to just keep in mind. Is there, it's still good. There's nothing wrong with it. They're just trying to move out that inventory and bring in other stuff. But I love that you are reminding people, like, just eat your vegetables. There is so much illness, and especially again, this is the topic like we started with, I can't talk today, low income families. And one of the problems that I have is that so often it is low income people that have higher rates of diabetes, heart disease, cancers, everything. And it's directly related to the food that we're eating. Right. So if we can let people know, like, hey, we can actually eat on a budget things that are healthy, getting the fiber in, getting the vitamins and nutrients in that we need. It's going to make a significant difference in our overall health and well-being from doing this.
That's right. And Ashton, you mentioned, first of all, a couple of things I love about what you do. First of all, during the pandemic, you flipped the script a little bit. You took matters in your own hands and you did what your strength, what your passion's all about. And I think that's a message in itself. And number two, just by looking at all the pictures, you incorporate your family, how close your family is, and you're teaching your children well at the same time. So you're already making a legacy for your family, but you're showing how an intact family or a couple can really teach their children, but also people around that as well. Is that your intent?
Yeah, absolutely. My husband is actually English. He's from the UK. And so he just in the 7, almost 8 years that we've been married has taught me a lot, because I'm just a small town Michigan girl who, I mean, most of the vegetables I had tried came from a can or a frozen bag. And even now there's days right now, beets are in season. And I'm like, honey, how do I make beets? And he's like, you've never had beets? But over there, a lot of those seasonal root vegetables are a lot longer available because it's a way different climate there than it is here. And it's been really nice because I'm learning that I like a lot more things. And I'm never afraid to try new things, but you have to know about it to try it. And so that's been really nice because we were blessed with 2 pretty picky eaters. So having him there to at least try new things with me has been really fun for us as a couple and a family.
So the people here watching this and maybe not knowing how to get started, how do people get started eating seasonally healthy? What would you suggest to them?
Yeah, I would just take the simplest approach you possibly can. Make it really easy on yourself. Use your favorite search engine. I use Pinterest or Google. Look up what's in season where you live. Typically, if you search what's in season in January, most places will be pretty similar, but I do think Florida might have something different than what we have here in Michigan. So it's better to kind of put in, you probably will get some sort of farmer's almanac, and take note, which ones do you definitely like? Which ones definitely do you not like? Don't force yourself to eat things that you don't like, because that's never going to stick. You're going to end up not liking the seasonal eating if you do it that way. Lean into the ones you like. If you really love broccoli, but you don't really like potatoes, that's okay. Like, just lean into your strengths when it comes to what you eat. And then make note of the ones that you might be willing to try. Even if you're not so sure, give it a try. A lot of people were really, really, curious, but apprehensive about Brussels sprouts not too long ago. And now they're like one of the trendy vegetables. So kind of make note of the ones and then keep those down and start searching,
We lost a volume there a little bit.
It's all right. Whenever you get a message come in, it turns off the volume. I've had that happen before.
Yes. Well, we're going to do, as she fixed that, I think we have a little video, a reel that we want to show our folks about Ashton and the work that she does. Let's roll that.
I love it. That's awesome. I love how she's utilizing all the different, I love that video that you did, Ashton.
Oh, thank you.
So cute. Was that a TikTok or is that Instagram?
I feel like I'm too old for TikTok, so I just use Instagram. I'm pretty deep into the millennials.
So we are definitely not going to talk age here. So you said you're too old. So I want to change the subject real quick.
Oh no, Steve! I have to explain to Steve how to log into Facebook. So we can't even get him into anything else.
What was that TikTok you said?
How do you spell that?
Now this is Kick Unhealthy Relationships to the Curb. And Ashton, what wonderful work that you're doing. What's the most challenging aspect of what you do, and the most rewarding aspect?
Challenging, I would say, is kind of the thing that I pride myself on, but it's not easy. It's trying to utilize the same ingredients for myself or my clients without getting sick of those ingredients, because every month you only have a set amount of, vegetables to work with, and a lot of months they kind of roll over. So from like November to February, most of those vegetables are the same. So you've got like 4 solid months to try and eat different meals that taste different but use the exact same ingredients. And I love a challenge and a puzzle, and so I actually love it, but it's honestly pretty hard. The most rewarding, I would say, is the feeling that I get when I hear my clients come back and say, my kids actually ate what you recommended. Or I had one client say she felt like she was rich all of a sudden because I had her eating things like shrimp and grilled steak, and those were things that they weren't used to planning. It wasn't because they couldn't afford it, but it was just not something familiar to them, and she felt like they were finally living this more lavish lifestyle. And I'm like, I do it because I like to share how affordable it is, and she felt like she was living lavishly. So that was a really huge pat on my back.
That's great. When my daughters were younger, a couple of years back, they would not eat broccoli. And being Italian, I had to think of some way for them to eat broccoli. So we used to have Italian bread. I would take out all the dough from the middle, get a large Italian bread, take it all out, put a little bit of butter in there, and then cook the broccoli, put it all in there, just a little bit of cheese, and then put it in the oven, take it out, and they loved it. Since then, I've been making broccoli bread for so long for everybody. But now, it's important to find creative ways for young children to eat healthy, and sometimes you got to think out of the box.
Well, and I think too, like I remember being little, and you said something about Brussels sprouts, and it reminded me when I was little, my dad would always say, you have to eat 3, and I would choke them down, and I'd look at him like he was trying to murder me, like, Dad, why are you making me have these awful Brussels sprouts? And he said, well, your taste buds are extra sensitive right now as a kid. Some of you might actually like them. And so but I had to keep trying them. I wasn't allowed to leave the table without having 3 Brussels sprouts or anything that we didn't like. We had to try it. We had to still have 3 bites. Well, Brussels sprouts are now one of my favorites. I love Brussels sprouts. And I think that even I used to hate olives. Now I love olives. So I think that no matter what age you are, it's not a bad idea to every once in a while just retry things and see, do you really still not like it? Or was it a bad memory from childhood that it wasn't made very well? Or, what is it really about that food that you like or didn't like? So I don't know. Do you think, or do you agree with that, Ashton?
Oh, totally. I read a study that you have to try something 10 times before you know if you like it or not. So even if one day you had a bad experience, you should give it 10 more separate occasions, spread them out. I hated tomatoes my entire life. One time I ordered a burger at a restaurant, and the cook accidentally put tomato on my burger, and I'm super afraid of ever rocking the boat. So I'm like, no, I'll just eat it. It's fine. I'll just eat it. Loved it. I loved it. And I had hated tomatoes, and I love them now. So it really is. And try them in different ways. Like you said, for a long, long time, steaming Brussels sprouts was the only way anyone knew how to cook them. And now all of a sudden we're roasting them and sprinkling them with Parmesan cheese and drizzling balsamic reduction all over it. And everyone loves Brussels sprouts. You'll find it on almost every appetizer menu where I live. So yeah, definitely keep trying it. Give it at least 10 times, and then maybe even try it some more and try it in different ways.
And some things I struggle with too. I know the preparation is to maybe on a Sunday night or a Saturday is to cook in advance all the food and to put it in Tupperware. it's a discipline. It's a challenge. Do you recommend that too, to, kind of create foods and meals for the week in advance?
I definitely do. That's something that's one of my 2022 goals is meal prep better. Especially for my breakfast and my lunch. And then a lot of times for my busy mom clients, I'll recommend on Monday during nap time, chop up all your veggies for the week and put at least just the veggies. Because throwing the meal together over the stove isn't quite the longest part. It's half the time it's the prep when they're hanging on your leg and you have a really sharp knife and it can be really stressful. So, or when you're even making their breakfast that morning, that was one thing that would work for me a lot, or making lunch. I'll pull out a few of the vegetables and I'll chop them up and put them back in the fridge. And it actually made dinner prep time really fun because I was able to do the cool part, which is adding the spices, and it smells good and it's really exciting. I was able to do that, and then I didn't have kids crying at my leg the entire time. So definitely recommend meal prep. If anyone has tips, they can send them my way because that's one of my goals.
And we have somebody that called in here or chimed in here. What if you tried celery 10 times and you still don't like it? What do you do?
Lean into the ones you like. If that's the case, I mean, if celery's in season and you don't like that, but you like carrots, then lean into the carrots.
Okay. All right.
Good. I like it.
These tips are good. Now, you work with predominantly virtually with a lot of your clients, correct?
Yeah, especially. Sorry, 1 second. Can you stop this?
Busy mom. I understand. Did anyone hear my 3-year-old screaming earlier? This is what happens.
Yeah, you can relate to that, right?
Yeah, for sure. All the time. Normally they're clawing under the desk trying to get my attention when I'm doing anything I need to be doing.
So that's why you have to have children in your 20s. There you go.
Hey, no, I decided to wait, so no.
There we go. But, it's so important. And when you connect with people virtually, Ashton, what's the secret when you first establish rapport with people when they're struggling to eat healthy? But eating healthy and seasonally can impact favorably for your family and your relationships within your family, correct?
Yeah, totally. And it's been super fun because I've gotten to know all these new families, and I've gotten to know them so well. My last client, she was a new mom, and her way of kind of showing up and doing her part in the world was that she was able to start donating her breast milk to NICU babies and sick babies in the local hospitals. And she was so excited. I could feel the excitement in her email as she's filling me in. And it was just the reply to my, hey, here's your weekly meal plan. Let me know if you need anything. And she let me in on this part of her story that I did not expect to hear. And that's been so, so cool because I'm getting to meet incredible women. Also, what was cool about her too is she didn't even cook the meals that I would plan for her. Her husband cooked them all. And so I love all the different family dynamics and the different skills and superpowers that people are bringing to my relationships with them. It's super, super fun.
Wow. Our engineer says carrots are the best. I agree with you, Anna. Carrots are the best. But what's your top 5 vegetables that you think people should eat, Ashton?
Well, I've already shared my love of Brussels sprouts. So definitely Brussels sprouts. I love asparagus in the summertime. That's a good one. Fresh garlic. Nothing beats fresh garlic. And there's tons of health benefits to fresh garlic.
Steve will like that one. The Italian in him is like, garlic? Yeah.
One I was going to mention too is what's cool about what I'm learning with seasonal eating is most of the vegetables when they're available have specific health properties that support various parts of our bodies when they need to be supported. So for example, it's January right now. It's cold. The air is really dry. It wreaks havoc on our lungs. Our lungs, that's when we tend to get, our asthmatic friends have trouble when they go outside. That's when we tend to get the cough and things like that. And apples are in season in January, and apples actually have special antioxidants in them called, I'm pretty sure it was called quercetin or quercetin, something like that. Mm-hmm. I'm probably butchering it, but anyways, it's a special antioxidant that has such lung repairing properties in it that it actually can reverse damage done by smokers just by eating apples. So that was one thing that I was like, okay, wow, this is actually, it's not just, good for supporting our local farmers, which is what got me started in it, but now it's supporting my body, and I'm not having to show up with all these extra supplements and vitamins that I was popping before this. Now I'm able to scale back and enjoy taking care of my body.
That's awesome. And I think especially with, COVID going on and, the increase of new cases and stuff, I think it's so many more people are understanding even more why having a healthy immune system, the importance of supporting it and what we can do. And like you said, instead of pumping ourselves with all these other vitamins, you got to start with the best way that our body absorbs vitamins, which is by eating them.
Absolutely. Completely.
That's it. So Ashton, what's some tips, real quick tips that you give out viewers, we're almost at a time, that if they're challenged with anything financially, what would be the easiest way to turn things around so they could be more healthier and support their families in a better way?
So the 3 tips I would give is first, reach out to any local organizations that you might have that can help support you. Most of the local WIC offices and things like that, even if you aren't able to qualify for WIC, they have a lot of helpful resources for where to purchase affordable food. They might even have, like Stephanie brought up with the Dollar Tree hack, they might have their own hacks for local grocers like that. A lot of local grocers will support the community in that way. Another thing I would say is get really good with your keywords when you're searching for these meal ideas. If you are on a really strict budget and you don't really like to cook, that's okay. You can still throw together something super easy by searching something like affordable weeknight meals, affordable crockpot meals, where you just dump it all in and you leave it all day, and then you get to come home to your house smelling really good. Just get really good with your keywords. I actually have a keyword list that I gave away to my Instagram community, because that was one thing. A lot of people are like, okay, where are you finding these dinners? I don't know what to search. So I have like a 2-page list of just all different meal keywords, whether you're vegan or you're eating clean or you're really busy. I spent a lot of time putting it together, because I found that the better the keywords, the more likely you are to find the right meals that you're actually going to not hate putting together if you're not a big cook in the family. And then the third one, I would say, just be kind to yourself. Celebrate the little wins. If you were able to steam a bag of broccoli and got your kid to like taste the tiniest piece of it, and you had something green on their plate that night, celebrate it. That is a great thing. If they didn't try it, but they looked at it and they touched it with their fork, or they pushed it away and said, I don't really want it, you exposed them to that. So celebrate those things, and don't be so hard on yourself. I feel like that's one mantra that we can all go into 2022, just being a lot easier on ourselves and letting ourselves celebrate when we do something that actually will start making a difference if we stay consistent.
And somebody just asked the question, is eating too much of anything bad?
You have to have moderation in anything. So, adding in extra calories, even a lot too much of a good thing isn't a good thing anymore. So that's one thing I am steering away from the words good and bad when it comes to food. I think that can cause kind of negative relationships around food. And so having an apple for a snack or having a small bag of chips for a snack, either one, as long as you're just eat until you're full. I don't really like the whole like diet culture. I don't like what it's done to people and to me. And so I would go around that. Eat until you're full, eat slow, and stop when you're full. It doesn't matter what you have. Try to put something green on your plate, but other than that, just do the best that you can.
And Steve, she means snack bag, not family giant size bag. I just want to make that.
What are you picking me out?
You're like,
there?
that's one serving. That's my husband. He's like, it's one serving. I'm like, babe, the bag is this big.
I write that one down too. Well, you know what? Thank you, Ashton. And another thing, we mentioned Dollar Tree. I feel like we're doing a plug for Dollar Tree, but you can go in Dollar Tree and get all those Tupperware things so you could do meal prep, right? And then just walk out $10, $20. You have all the Tupperware you need for that meal prep that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love Dollar Tree for Tupperware. That's my go-to spot.
There we go. Ashton, how can people get a hold of you?
So you can find me on Instagram at Ashton Cope, ASHTINCOPE. I'm Ashton Cope on Facebook, and my website is ashtoncope.com.
Thank you very much. This was so very needed. And Stephanie, thank you. Ashton, this kicked off our 2022 season of Kick on Healthy Relationships to the Curb, and I couldn't think of a better way to do it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for having me. This has been so fun.
Thank you. You'll have to come back one day.
Yeah.
All right. Ashton Cope, thank you so very much. And Stephanie, I mean, amazing young person that's doing amazing things like we usually have on our show.
We are lucky enough to have some really great guests on this show. So if this is your first time tuning in with us, thank you for tuning in. We do go live every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we also, actually, this gets rebroadcasted. Is it 6 p.m. on Fridays on cable?
Yes, on cable. So you can see this again and again and again. You can put it on a big screen, eat healthy, and watch this show. But sometimes we have a musician that seeks me out to promote a new song, and that's the case right now. We have a singer-songwriter out there, Melanie. Melanie, I'm drawing a blank what her last name is right now, but she has a great song out there, and I want to read something about her. Athena, Melanie Athena. She's from New York City. Mix up a Bohemian African-American born in Harlem and raised in Brooklyn with the heart and soul of a Greek-Italian born to classical musicians. V. Jeffrey Smith and Melanie Athena bring you diverse perspectives and musical backgrounds. V. Jeffrey Smith and Melanie Athena are the Paradigm Shift. And they have a new song, a video that they put out there that she's going to be a guest on another show on our network coming up. I want to show that video as we take us home tonight. So, Stephanie, thank you so very much for another great show. And I guess we'll be doing this again next week. I had some withdrawals last Wednesday. I was like, where's Stephanie? What am I doing?
I know it was a while. It was a long time, but thank you to all of our viewers for understanding that sometimes you just need a little vacation. And I enjoyed the time away, and I so loved every moment of it. And I got home yesterday so excited, completely ramped up to do this show, to do all the great work. I got all these great ideas. Road trips always just give me so many ideas. So I'm feeling so good about 2022. I am ready to really give back to the community and help others through all, navigating all this stuff that's going on. And I'm really excited for the future for all of us. So glad we're back.
So we're going to make a little shift. And right now, the Paradigm Shift. Check this out.
and crosses the line, but we look forward to the time as one together. I see tomorrow in a dream, my brothers and sisters gathering, and together we all will sing. Together we all will sing. Trouble in paradise is here, leading into our biggest fears. How the hell did we get here? How did we get here? And what will the future bring after mother does her thing? No more blingity bling bling, let the future sing. Come on. Heed the warnings of what was missed. No more